Welcome to Intex News Radio. My name is Clinton Paris, and I have the pleasure of being your host, your pilot, your guide, your director, the person that takes you on this journey for the next hour. We focus on this show on politics because of the breadth and depth that politics has on America's life, on our communities, things of that nature. So it is a joy for me to get on here and talk with you in a way and about the things that are most affecting individuals in our society. We welcome you to call in and join the discussion or share your thoughts. The number here is 813-444-9588, 813-444-9588. I suggest that you make that a contact in your phone. Make it in touch or straight up the middle, whatever you want to make it, so that when something hits you and you want to call, you can just type in the number, and we can take it from there. But we'd love to hear your comments, your calls. So today is a therapeutic day. We're into our second month of the year, and it's about time I have a day of therapy, a day of cleansing to flesh out some thoughts, some things. So it's just me and you all today here as we go on today's journey here on InTouch News. And I want to give a disclaimer that makes it clear. The views and comments of myself, the host, are not those of InTouch News. So do not attribute what I might say to InTouch News. You can attribute to the best way for you to think about things, and that way you won't be misled. And if you're confused, in the words of the late Rush Limbaugh, don't worry. Listen in, and shortly I will tell you what you should think if you have any doubts on what is the correct mindset you should have about the pressing issues of the day. So again, welcome to Intex News Radio, and particularly straight up the middle. So let's jump into it. So a lot of stuff happening. Let me roll off one of the things. A little check mark. We really don't do a lot of shout outs, Bezel, but if we do, I would give a shout out to Reverend Adrian Reed, who is being installed over at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, where the message and the mission is divine. Just transplanted down from New York City. He is being installed today, and so we're going to wish him well on the installation. I'm going to make it by the church in time to grab a bite to eat and shake a few hands a little bit later on. Also, we are fresh into Black History Month. If you touch on my any of my social media stuff, I've already got a couple of posts going. And if you're listening to the station, you can always flip over and catch the live stream on InTouch News, YouTube, and or Facebook. And the reason I mentioned that today is I am sporting my John Lewis Good Trouble shirt. I had the pleasure last year going up and visiting the Edmund Pettus Bridge Museum and walked up on the bridge and did a couple things. I think we talked about that when it happened. But I got this shirt. But it's Black History Month, and for a lot of folks, particularly Black folks, you live Black history every day, so you feel like I really need to know it. But there are other people in our community, in our society, they really don't know your history. They barely know their history, and so think of it as a time to share with other people about important facts, important pieces of history that helps us better understand each other. So Black History Month is a great time to learn about Black history and to share it. And I would say this: be purposeful in your actions. Be purposeful. I mean, wake up in the morning and intend to learn something about Black history, or as you go out, intend to share something about Black history or to support something related to Black History Month. All over this country, there are people working tirelessly in all these communities to ensure that there's a bevy of activities and events that you can attend and support. And I would just encourage everyone to get out and make sure that you're edifying and enhancing yourself and your experience by learning and sharing Black history. And when the other months come along, I encourage you to get out and learn something about that. Trust me, the more you learn, the better you are, but the more you learn about others, the better you can understand them and maybe we can bridge some of the divide. So let's celebrate Black History Month. It is just a wonderful time to embrace history. I am thankfully just very inquisitive about history in general. I like learning about history. I like experiencing history. I just love sharing history with people. And so, from that perspective, I just think that it's important that, you know, we make sure we get out and listen. And for you people that like to text me, I got I got one already. Somebody just hit me up with, and with a suggestion. What about this? What about purposefully setting out to create some new Black history? Where you find something that is less or not as adequate or what you think it should be. How about getting out and creating some Black history? Most people that do things are just like you, except they chose to get up and make a difference where they saw a need. I like that idea, so I'm gonna use that in the future. I'm gonna give credit to one of my listeners who sent that in and said create some Black history. So let's celebrate Black History Month. It is just we kick off the year great. You think because we really dominate January with MLK Day and some of the stuff we do there, so we really get like a bonus month. And if anybody follows online TikTok, there's a lady on there called Corporate Aaron. And Corporate Aaron's company expanded Black History like 15 days into January, and I thought it was hilarious, as part of her skit that she was doing. But I like the idea of people getting out and really just this is a great time in American history, not a perfect time as no time is, but it is really a great time. And I'm thankful and hopeful that we will continue to develop. So that's my spiel on Black history. Let's jump into some of the issues hitting us. Callers to this show are very important. And once again, the call-in number 813-444-9588. Last week we had a caller come in and she said, people spend so much time talking about some of the news headlines about the personalities involved in politics, and they really don't talk about the issues. And I got to thinking about that. Well, what are the issues? What are the issues that are really most impactful as we look to this next upcoming election? And I will say that maybe some of the issues may not be necessarily headline issues, but what are the issues though most affecting us? At my age, young mid-50s, I'm on the edge of middle age, but friends of mine are starting to retire. I went out yesterday and celebrated with a friend of mine, Reverend Jay Jackson, who was installed over at Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church, the new pastor over there. But he retired from his career, 30 plus years at State Farm, and I was just thinking, wow, he's younger than I am, and there he is already retired, and other people I know who've already retired late 50s. So one of the thoughts for those people are things like Social Security. The other thing is Medicare. It's a big deal. We're caring for elderly family members in our family, and we see the perils and the struggles they go through dealing with their health insurance. More so than anything else. For example, a friend of mine who has diabetes, he had been described, I guess, Jordigance or whatever, one of those Ozempic. He was prescribed Ozempic. Doing well on it for about 6 months. New Year starts, and it's been reclassified so that he now has to take another drug because he would have to pay, I think it was about $1,800 or $1,000, crazy amount of money. He had to pay per month to continue taking that medication for his diabetes, life-saving medication. So his doctor thankfully prescribed something else that theoretically will do as well. But that's one of the issues I think, some of the folks are really concerned about. Healthcare really is an issue, and not healthcare, health insurance, and how insurance handles caring for those of us who need that stuff. That was one of the things I thought was a really, really, key issue. Another issue, really, education. What's happening in our schools is disgusting because our schools have been turned into these babysitting factories where the majority of the effort is spent just managing the children, just managing the children. A friend of mine I ran into him at the grocery store. He's retired also, retired from the FBI, and now he's teaching school and coaching in high school. Says his dream had always been to work in the schools and coach and whatnot. So he is. Says he had a kid that tore up the class the other day. So he gets the kid under control, finally gets him outside. High school kid said, "What's the issue?" And the kid said, my big brother, he's got in trouble again and he's going back to jail and he's the only one that really, cares about me. So the kid was really having an emotional day, nothing to do with learning math, learning to write, science, learning a foreign language, or some other subject matter that's going to benefit him as he goes forward with in life. Here, the teacher now has to spend the day with this student or that class period dealing with the kid's emotional state. And many of our teachers are taking on the role that many parents are failing at or coming up short at. I do put a lot of responsibility on our parents to educate your child, to have your child ready to learn when they go to school. Kids are a big deal, and people should really think more about what you can do to develop another person before having a child. I think it's a really, really bad and sad situation when you bring a child into this world and you're not prepared to deal with the issues that will affect that child. So we got a caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Carl, the trucker calling in. I want to get in on this early side.
Hey, whoa, man, no, you got to wait, bro, because I got a lot on the table for you. You go ahead then, since you're early. I'm gonna let you get your question in first, and then I'm gonna go down my list of questions I have for you. Fair enough?
Okay.
All right. What's on your mind this morning?
Okay. Well, you're speaking about history. I have a lot of history myself. Being coming from Sandersville, Georgia, being raised back in the farm days, riding on a tractor in the cold weather. Back in that day, at the age of 6 years old. Milking cows and just doing.
Okay.
Life,
Okay, Carl. So you say you got a farm life. I'm going to ask you a farming question, and we'll see. Because we know it's called a trucker. If you had an open well in the front of your house, and a chicken smell water, and jump down in the well, how do you get the chicken out that water once he gets down in there?
We would horse the bucket down in there and kind of fish for the chicken to get in there.
Okay, all right. So you got some bona fides.
We'll pull them up.
Okay, all right. Okay, you got some country bona fides. All right then. So your history goes back to farming days in Georgia.
Yeah.
So tell us about the dynamic of how that is impacting you now.
Well, now it has. Well, I have grandkids. I have grandkids, and I have 3 daughters, and they have kids or whatever. So I've been talking to them about my history, about my life growing up, and they're very much interested. Probably during the summer, I'm going to take them back down to Sandersville and let them visit some of those monuments.
Wow, outstanding.
Where I was born at, inside the house by midwives, and another little inside thing. My older brother taught me to speak Pig Latin so we can speak, and our parents wouldn't know what we was talking
about. That is quite that's some cultural stuff there for you. So all right. So listen. You done ran me up on my break. We're gonna take a quick break. Carl, just hang on, because we're gonna come back and talk about Fonnie Willis. I know you got some thoughts on what's coming out with her and Attorney Wade up there. So can you hang on for me while we take a quick break and come back on the other side? Okay. All right. So we're gonna take a break, everybody, and come back on the other side. I got Carl, the trucker, Country called the trucker on the phone. He's gonna hold over for us, and we come back on the other side. Go talk about what's going down. Since he's on the phone, we're gonna talk about Fonnie Willis a little bit. Then In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 1-800-361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. Again, my name is Clint Paris. I am the host in the studio. Got one of our extremely regular loyal callers on the phone. Country trucker Carl Paris with us live. Carl, you were telling us about the your country bona fides and how you're going to spend some time with the grandkids and take them up and circle around Sandersville, Georgia, and just show them a little bit about what you experienced growing up. Okay, I got another country bona fide question for you before I get to fan. Carl, you there? You ready for this question?
Yes, I am. Yes,
All right. Okay, now country question. So if you have chickens running around in the yard and you decide you want to catch a chicken and cook it, how do you go about catching a chicken so that it can be cooked up?
Well, we had a lot of ways of doing that. With my brother, my oldest brother, was a good sharpshooter. So we either that if he was around, we would get him to lay out on the ground as a sharpshooter, and he could shoot that chicken straight through the eye.
Okay. But he's not a big brother. But a big brother's not around. What's the other option?
The other option is that we would come and befriend that chicken and grab it by the neck, and next thing you know, we bringing the chicken, we befriend it first.
Okay.
Take you in and take him out,
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Boy. You know what, man? We could talk all day about this stuff. Okay. So listen, your girl Fonnie Willis, because you're Atlanta based. I know you're out of Atlanta. I know you spend most of your time trucking across our countryside, delivering fresh products and produce up and down the byways. But Fannie Willis up in Atlanta, this issue with her and Wade have now just come out. They've got a personal relationship. What were your thoughts when you heard that they conceded, yes, we do have a personal relationship?
Well, to me, that's a non-issue. That's a non-issue. That's it do showcase, it do pinpoint her judgment, but I'm sure you have other prosecutors that has used poor judgment and doing other stuff. I mean, her personal life shouldn't be whether this guy committed a crime, that she's prosecuting him for his crime, what he did.
Right.
Like I said before, probably if there's a crime, then you prosecute her. So we can't get distracted. What the issue is, the base is that this guy tried to harvest some more, some more ballots. I mean, some more votes, and that's what he's being prosecuted for.
Yeah, I think the dynamic of what he did, Trump has framed this as a political prosecution, right? And I just think that this gives fuel. Prosecuting a president for a crime while in office is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. And we're crossing a new threshold in American history. To add to that, something as seedy as a personal relationship between the prosecutor and the outside attorney that's been hired just begs the question of what kind of judgment does Fani Willis have? The question is, what kind of judgment does she have? I remember one time at a politician, I stopped by his office to visit. And as I came in, he had an extremely attractive bezel. I'm talking knockdown, gorgeous legislative aide. And I saw the young lady sitting there when I walked in. And I went in the back. I said, hey, what's that out front? He goes, oh, that's my new legislative aide. To assist with the Hispanic community. And I said, that's a big distraction right there. You guys I said, you might not. I said, I said, well, what's her connection to the Spanish community? He said, well, not a lot. I mean, she don't speak Spanish, but you can see she fits the bill. I said, that looks like bad judgment. You might want to rethink that. Well, of course, he ends up getting kicked out of office, going to jail. You name it. But what I'm saying about the Fani Willis thing is it looks like bad judgment and that she is unable to control her personal urges and desires. What do you think about that, Carl?
Okay, I think about, we can also look at Clarence Thomas.
We just looking at Fani Willis.
If you're gonna get her for her bad judgment, look at Clarence Thomas.
I will agree. I agree. I'm with you on that. I agree. Clarence Thomas has done more damage to the Supreme Court's credibility. Here's a guy that's now worth, I think somebody read somewhere, he's worth over $20 million that he's gained since he's been in office, that he's collected. He's kind of like some of these rich preachers walking around. They got their own airplane. I guess, I try, but we got to do the reality of what she has now presented in front of us as one of the issues affecting the judgment. The question of judgment is on the table. You're comfortable with her going forward with this having come out?
Yes, I am. I'm very comfortable because she's prosecuting him for what he's done. And nothing else. She's prosecuting him for what he's done. And everything's legit. If there was some questioning or some, where she just really fabricated something else, then okay. But she has a legitimate case and all of it, and everything is factual.
Well, let me say this. It is an absolute unforced error. We have to accept in these dynamics, any and everything that can be used against you will be used against you when you at this level. And there are two dynamics. One, if her judgment was one that she didn't see how appointing this guy to this position and they had a past relationship was an issue. And I'm a little bit confused about whether it was past or during after she appointed him. But I know what they're trying to explain is that the two of them have gone on or been together since he appointed her, which again sounds like extremely bad judgment. And that's what's so disappointing to me. I expect that she's probably going to have to step aside as the state attorney, or at least appoint someone else to manage that case, so that she has no connection to it whatsoever, and she needs to terminate that relationship. She needs that's just, to me, at her age. I mean, she's too old for that. Yeah, that's not the thing that should be influencing her. So I also got to get your thoughts, Carl, on another issue that's we're finally around to South Carolina. The first primary vote on the Democratic side is going to happen in South Carolina. Any predictions on how Joe Biden will do in that primary?
I think he would do really good. I think he would do pretty good. The only issue is that because Nikki Haley don't have a good reputation for, they don't really care for it too much in South Carolina. But then you also got to look at Tim Scott. What kind of power do he have?
To do what though? But well, hold on, Carl. You mentioned Tim Scott. Tim Scott's out of the race. He's endorsed Donald Trump. Nikki Haley's still on the ticket. But I'm asking you about. I'm thinking, well, how does Joe Biden do? I understand that Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, and Trump, they're going to battle it. They're going to do their usual. I'm just trying to figure out, does Joe Biden do better than he did last time in South Carolina, or worse?
If he gets his message out, well, from what a lot of analysts are saying is that, he has to get his message out. And this conflict that with Hamas and in Iran may do a lot of damage, because a lot of people they want him to be a wartime president. They want him to really engage and show power in the United States.
If I recall correctly, Carl, you have a history, military career. Did some time in the military. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, did a tour or two over in Iraq. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, and so the message came out, I guess, yesterday, that there were 85 targets hit yesterday, and that they were going to have some more targets hit. That Iraq is saying about 25 people have been killed in the bombs that they exploded. You don't think that's a strong enough wartime kind of response for Joe Biden to make it show that, hey, look, I can get tough when I need to?
Yes, it is. It's very, war is always strategic. So this reflects what type of president we really need. Now, if you get someone like Trump to come in that's really trying to prove a point and not be strategic, it can get really messy and pull us back into another conflict.
Right. I
So
hear you.
yes, he's very presidential. So this really shows what type of president he is.
Got it.
He didn't overdo it. He just did what he needed to do to send a message that United States really protects their people, and we're not trying to get into a war, but we will hit back when someone hit us.
All right. Well, hey, Carl, we appreciate you calling, and as always, appreciate the information on country living hits the road. We like that. Hey, man, get out there, do your thing, man. Be safe. And stay warm. It's kind of cold out there. Stay warm, Carl. We're going to get into this break, y'all, and come back on the other side. And people text me these doggone messages up here. Y'all better watch what y'all text me. 813-444-9580 is the call-in number. We're going to take a break, come back on the other side, and we're going to continue with the second half hour of my therapy session today. In Touch News Radio, reality radio, everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer. I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay, call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida, grab a pen of sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Call Ricky. Ask Ricky.
All right, we're back live on Intentions Radio. Everybody can be a star. I want to thank Carl for calling in. Carl the trucker out there hitting the highways and byways. And we chatted a little bit earlier about Black History Month, the importance of history and just taking this month as taking in and to share it with others. You know, to share it, we need to make sure people know that Black history is important because, and let me change Black history to Black history and American history, which aren't the same thing, but we want to make sure we project to people how important our Black history is to America's history. And for that reason, if you're watching on Facebook, I got my John Lewis shirt on. And last night I whipped over my slightly used version of the 1916 the 1916 project, and really to get myself in the mindset. Yesterday, I got on the phone with civil rights icon here in Tampa, civil rights lawyer, and Delano S. Stewart, and chatted with him a little bit just to get my mind right for Black History Month. So, want to encourage everybody to get out and do that. We also touched on what happened up in the Fannie Willis. Before I go back to that, though, let me say one of our listeners sent me a message saying, "Hey, look, if you really knew what was going on in the school system." The limitations right now in Florida, and with Florida, here's what you want to watch out for. Florida's become the new model for dictating what happens in our country, like California used to be. California used to export its ideas and ideology. Thank you very much, DJ Bezel.
I know some once in a while.
I hear you, man. Appreciate that. Ideology. What did you say? What is it? Ideology. Wow. Now, why I'm getting tongue-tied a little bit on that one. So anyway, but Florida's now become the bedrock for this conservative movement nationwide. Other states are looking at, hey, well, they did it in Florida. Let's try it here. And so the teachers in Florida are under a lot of restrictions and pressure. They almost can't teach Black history. I wonder what they're going to tell people about Crispus Attucks, which I learned, first person killed in the American Revolution. Black guy walks out in the street, everybody else ran. He didn't apply hood rules, said, hey, what's going on? And he gets shot. But also in the area of sociology, which is interesting to me, that we would find that another area that they're now targeting is sociology and trying to limit the concepts and perceptions that are information really shared with in a time of information that's shared with students. So to all my teachers out there, hang in there, be creative, do what you can. I have been invited to be a speaker at a school for Black History month, so we'll see what's happening over there, because I come blackity black, all things black at all times black. So we'll see how that works out. But I want to just say that to my teachers out there, do what you can to educate for Black History Month. Also, just getting back to this Fonnie Willis. Here's my issue, Bezel, with Fonnie Willis. Here's my issue. It's judgment. I don't want Trump with his finger on the nuclear button because I don't trust his judgment. And Fonnie Willis, the fact that this woman would put this is a historic case. Everything is scrutiny. Every piece of paper you throw in the trash, you need to assume somebody's going to take it out and read it. Everything you say, every tech, every dollar you spend, everywhere you go right now is under scrutiny. And this is the time to develop a relationship with a coworker, and then to go on trips. And one of the messages I saw they put out, well, we split expenses 50-50. And you look like he cheap. Now on top of all of that, he out there got you paying your own bills. You ain't even getting treated like a woman. And you put everything on the line for this. I hate to say, in my mind, it should not matter. I'm just irked that it's such a massive unforced error.
What does this button do?
So my issue is, so what do y'all think about it? You share your thoughts. One of the other things I opened the show with talking about, what are the issues though we're concerned about? I wonder, you think about 15, 20 years from now, the effect of some of the immigration that's happening, or migration from the southern United States and around the world and into the United States. We've not had that on that scale for a very long time. I think the last major influx we had really came from Asia after the end of the Vietnam War and some of the turmoil there, and people decided they were going to, kind of come to the United States. We had another influx of a large number of people to marry a boat lift, I think 1980, and somewhere around that time we had a lot of people coming to the United States. But there are a lot of people coming in, and they're going to slowly impact our communities, our societies, things of that nature. How big a deal is that to both parties as an issue for the election? Then, of course, we have the all-time, constant economy. I went out last night. I had this idea, I'm going to fry me some catfish. See, these stories are basic, simple stories that people go through. And I went to the store. I walk up to the fresh fish counter and say, I'd like to get me a couple of pounds of catfish. The guy said that'll be for 3 pounds, that'll be $32. And I said, catfish? Are you joking me? $32 for 3 pounds of catfish? I ended up getting 1 pound. I just scaled it back. I got a pound and a half. I got a pound and a half. Then I got home. I was still so despondent. I ended up going out to eat. I went out to Boston. I went out somewhere and just got me some already cooked catfish hush puppies, and I was so put off by that price. But that's going to affect the upcoming election. So we got another caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, this is Lisa calling from Tampa.
Okay, Lisa, tell us what's on your mind.
Good morning, Attorney Paris. Well, I wanted to make a comment about the Bonnie Willis situation. She finally admitted that the affair is true, but we don't know, do you know how long they had been in an affair? Because it seems like you just say that she started dating this guy recently. I don't know. But for me, I don't think any of those assistant district attorneys were going to sit quiet with a high-profile case like that and let her bring in someone who does not have the credentials to really try the case and them not say anything. I mean, I've worked in law offices, and there's so many great attorneys who want to be on high-profile cases. And that was just really blatant, I think, in their faces to do that and think that she could get away. The other thing is that when a lot of people are in affairs, they don't think anybody else knows. Everyone around them already know about it.
Got it. Now, so let's say this now. She didn't have an affair. She had a relationship.
She did?
Yeah, it's a relationship. Yeah, he and his wife have been
Wow.
split up for some period of time, and the comment was they developed a professional and personal relationship, is what I read. But I've read a number of things. So let's play this out. We know what they've admitted is they went on some type of joint trip or outings together. And I read that they split expenses. So make sure none of the money she's paying him for the case was being used to entertain her. That shows a level of consciousness on their part that, listen, this might not be the best thing. But I'm just thinking to myself, though, unless I was prepared and she was prepared to resign, quit my job, we get married and spend our time together forever, why not just put this on the back burner? Just, hey, let's come back to this. Bad timing. You know, we all grown-ups, right? And we've all met people and had to say, hey, the time ain't right for this. This right now, no, my situation or your situation. It's not the right time. The least of which is the dude is still married. I mean, I have a rule that one of my rules I tell young ladies, don't date a guy in the middle of his divorce. Let that settle. Right. Let's get the dust. Let's get some concrete in this relation in his life that he can stand on. But that should have been that's just the female judgment thing jumped out. What do you think about that? That first of all, she's messing around with the married man.
Right. I don't know if you can say it was bad judgment on both parts, especially hers. And you have to be careful about generalizing the female judgment, I guess. But you just don't know the details around their situation at the time or her life. It was bad judgment, and it's a bad distraction now for a very important case for this country. And I feel she needs to step down.
Wow, really?
Such a distraction.
It is that level of distraction. Okay, wow, that's interesting. It is
that much of a distraction. That's all they talk about.
Well, even more so.
Yeah, I mean, if
because even more so now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, even more so now. And if she showed bad judgment in that, and people say her judgment is bad in other decisions on this case, it's just going to take away from what the district attorney's office is trying to accomplish right now. And for the country, she needs to step down.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for your input on that, Lisa. Appreciate that. Well, you had something else you wanted to say?
Thank you. No, thank you for taking my call. I definitely enjoyed hearing from Trucker Carl Paris today. Be safe out there, Trucker Paris.
It's Country Carl. He's Country Carl the trucker.
Oh, he's Country Carl the trucker today.
It's Country Carl the trucker. So, all right,
Carl.
Thank you.
Great. We'll stay tuned to see what happens.
All right.
Enjoy Black History Month. I hope everyone will show up and participate in all the events.
All right, thank you very much. All right, that's Lisa calling. Say that I'm surprised, Bezel. She said, she got to go.
She got to go.
She got to go.
Yeah.
She got to go.
I'm a black female, but and love the law, but it's time for her to step down.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Joe. You appreciate it. I mean, Lisa.
She did it
Lisa.
in her career. She did it. She did it, so I don't feel bad for her.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Lisa. All right.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So that's interesting that the woman calls in and says, hey, she got to go. And she has a legal background as well. So anyway, all right. Let me bring this caller in real quick and we'll go to break. Hello. Good morning, caller. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, DJ here.
Hey, DJ, can you hold for a moment while we take a quick break, come back on the other side?
I will.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, DJ's going to hold on. We're going to take this quick break. In Touch News Radio, reality radio, everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this quick message.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19, Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here-for-you.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers on the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
All right, we're back live. We got DJ on the phone calling in. DJ, good morning. How are you? This happy Black History Month. What's on your mind this morning, DJ?
Good morning. I heard Lisa beat up on Fonnie Willis. And let me just say, initially when I heard about Fonnie Willis, when she went after the teachers, I was like, man, who is this chick beating up on school teachers? But I honestly believe that if the decision she made is a bad decision. It's wrong. You don't do that in the workplace. But it is not a disqualifier for her. Here's a woman that's been bringing down gangsters and criminals in Fulton County for the last few years and has really been doing an exceptional job. And now she's on top of what I call, or who I call, criminal number one. Well, what they call them back in the day? Ace criminals. They had some kind of name for the number one.
Public enemy number one.
Public enemy number one. For public enemy number one, she is really on his butt. And it is a distraction. Does she need to step away? Perhaps. But it should not stop the case from going on with Donald J. Trump. That's really my point. Her indiscretion has nothing to do with his several indiscretions. That's the point I want to make. I'd like to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay. And I agree. I think the prosecution is going to continue. The question is how does it continue? I think, and I want to treat this like it's this is an employment, fraternization policy kind of thing. If you look at it from that, she's Wade's boss. She hired him. She oversees his contract. She directs his actions, and now she's got a personal relationship. The other issue that she is that she's a publicly paid. She's paid by public dollars, and he is as well. And you have to always be careful when those dollars circle back to you. So one of the first things, how this really comes up, is they're saying she's paying him and he's spending money on her for these trips and whatever else in their personal relationship. And so my thoughts are the criminal piece of the case is not gonna go away. It's in what context does it continue. One idea is she would step down. The other one, of course, is you replace him with someone else. But I think one of those two things has to happen. I don't think we can go forward in the context that it is, because one of the things that we need from our criminal justice system, we need the society to accept that the outcome is legitimate. We already don't have that with our political system right now. We can't have that also happening with our criminal justice system to that level. And that's kind of where I think things are going with this. Those are my thoughts about that, DJ. And I appreciate you calling in and giving us your input this morning. as we move towards I guess the last couple of things, I want to go back to what I said earlier at the beginning of the show about policy. It is very difficult with the personalities we have involved in our current politics. Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tim Scott, not Joe Biden, but Hunter Biden, Donald Trump. There's so many personalities floating around the squad that we lose sight of the issues that are really impacting us. And so we vote on these personalities, but at the end of the day, we got these issues to tackle, though. So we got to call him back in. Caller, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello, caller? Oh, we lost a call. Caller, give us a call back. You know, hey, listen, you people are killing me with these text messages. So I just got a message that you know what she needed, right? All that stress, all that hard work, all those years in the trenches, grinding, pushing, battling. She needed a little back exercise. And so Wade was there to give her what she really needed added to her life at that moment. And unfortunately, you know, there's going to be a price to pay for that. But I really want people to think about what is the issue most impacting you. You know, I'm discouraged if I hear somebody say, well, I want to vote for Biden because we can't have Trump again. Well, that's not an issue. That's personality. So talk about some issues. You want something different done politically, as we see with the immigration, as we see with the economy. Great jobs number came out. You know, we have these issues overseas with threats to our country and our safety. How do we handle those things? I talked earlier about education. I mean, we got to do something about education. What's happening in our school system is scary. And I'll say this. There's an element in our school system that's doing well. It's just too small. It's just too small. There used to be a time when the element at school that wasn't doing well was very minor. Now these schools are great holding pens for children to turn out at 18, and then we wonder why they can't function in our society. So education is a key thing. We don't know how that's going to be resolved as we go forward. But I want everybody to really think about what is the issue driving you to vote? And is it just personality? Because if it's just personality, I think the media is winning because that's what they promote. They promote personalities and some of the more ludicrous things that you hear people say is what really scares me, is that they're nowhere in touch with what's going to happen when people are in office. You know, you need to go back and look at things. And most people just say, I hate Joe Biden, so he can't be reelected. I just hate him. I hate all his policies. I hate him. And then if you ask him about, you know, Donald Trump, they go, I hate him too. And so the Democrats hate the Republicans hate. And so there's no way that you can talk. And let me give you real insight the next time you're talking to somebody that you disagree with. Do not try to convince or convert them to your way of thinking. You with me, Bezel? Do the best you can to understand them. That really is where our energy and effort should be placed on trying to understand what our differences are. And then I think we can find our way to our middle ground. You know, historically, America has corrected itself. If you think about the directions it's going, if you think about it, how we even get to be the United States was a correction. You know, you get into the slavery hold, there's a correction. You get into the corrective directions our country is going. I think collectively the totality of our direction, Bezel, is good. We just let sometimes some of the minor things dominate how we look at stuff. But the challenge in this election is going to be to not let the politics of personality dominate the day. Okay, caller, what's your name and where you're calling from?
DJ again, man. Just quickly, can you touch on the Electoral College and what kind of impact that's going to have on the election this year?
Okay. I will do that real quickly. All right, I got a couple of minutes. Thank you, DJ, for calling in and asking about that. So, just as a civics lesson, we're going to circle back to that real quick. While we vote individually, the popular vote does not necessarily determine the outcome of the election. In each state, the popular vote determines who gets the electoral votes for that particular state. And then whoever gets the majority of the electoral votes is the person that's elected. And so then there's a slide scale with how we determine who gets how many electoral votes in each state. So let's take the state of Florida. Somebody wins the state of Florida. And let me circle back to something. This is why secretaries of state, your local elections, your state officials are important, because the state election gets certified and then that's sent up to Congress to be ratified. If you recall, the whole issue in the state of Georgia was there was a fight over the state secretary certifying that election and then sending that up to Congress where it's ratified. If you remember, the vice president, he presides over that ratification process. So it's important that we turn out for the popular vote, because that will dictate who gets the various electoral votes from each state. And then who gets those electoral votes, the majority then dominates and wins in the election. Sounds complicated, and I think we need to understand that. Here's the key piece you need to know. When is the last day to register to vote, and that you show up to vote. Those are the two things you could, at the individual level, you control that. You control that. The problem we've had historically is America, we're so despondent sometimes people don't turn out to vote. But I got a feeling right now, Bezel, some great numbers came out for Joe Biden. He's back in the lead over Donald Trump. We had 350,000 jobs reported the other day. Interest rates are steady. Inflation's coming down. You know what that means? That sounds like 4 more years of Biden. I'm sure Carter Trucker agrees with that. We'll find out next week, though. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Everybody, wherever you are, I know it's a little cool, but we're turning the corner towards spring. Well, in Florida, we're turning the corner towards spring. Get out, do something, be excited about the opportunity. And also, listen, it's Black History Month, people. Let's celebrate. I am so excited about my John Lewis shirt, man. I went out and got this thing from the Edmund Pettus Museum up in Alabama. Want to encourage everybody, really, really go out and share your Black history with your friends and family members and co-workers. Syntax News Radio, reality radio where everybody can be a star. We'll see you back here again next week. Bye-bye.